Now, Lydia, stop playing with Milton's emotions like that. Hey y'all, it's your cafe for all things creative, and we are back with our Love is Blind Season 5, episodes 2 through 4 review. If you are new, welcome. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And if you're returning, so glad to have you back. Let's get back into the episode. I had reviewed episode 1, and I wanted to do all the episodes together, but my microphone betrayed me. So let's get back to episode 2. So we had established that Izzy broke up with Lydia fairly early, and now we see Lydia, I believe, setting her sights on Milton just to stay on the show. Again, from the first episode, I felt that they did have the best day. I definitely think that Lydia wrote Milton off because of his age and nerdiness. And there is a pattern on Love is Blind a lot of the times when someone takes their second choice, they don't really give their all, to the person that they settle with. And especially the way that Lydia was crying over Izzy and just like had built up this whole life for them together in her mind. I think she needs time to process, why she made that choice. And instead of just really dumping all those feelings that she had for Izzy, I guess, on the shelf or pushing them on over to Milton, she's got to take some time, but she's not doing that. I think she wants to stay on the show. But I really think that Lydia should leave the process. I think there should be a rule that, you really gotta be serious about when you put your cards on the table for someone. I know in Bliss and Zach's case, that was like the best case scenario. But again, in Zach's case from season 4, Arena was just so nasty and so violent, like abusive to him. Everybody did not mind when Zach met up with Bliss, and the way he did it was, I think, a little bit more respectful. Like he went through the honeymoon with Serena, they left off. He gave it a little time, and then he went to meet with Bliss, and he courted her again. With Milton and Lydia, I'm just getting the vibe that she's settling. She's not going to treat him well, just from what I'm predicting, because it seemed like a rebound to me. But Milton himself was always into Lydia, so I feel really bad for him. But Milton is happy. So he likes it. I love it, but I think Lydia should know better. That's just my opinion. Also, JP, the firefighter, he opened up about his mom being a menace to his sisters and his family and wishing that he could protect his sisters more. And Uche apologizes to Aaliyah for turning into an angry bird on her and judging her and roasting her in the way that he did the last episode. And he just explained his perspective a little more. And at the end of the episode, JP and Taylor get together. They do the proposal and the reveal. And come to find out, Taylor says that after seeing JP, she's happy with her decision, but she knows that she would not have given him a chance in real life because he has a gap in his teeth. And again, it just shows how superficial, people can be because you have a great guy with great values. They're very compatible, and just to think that she would have wrote him off for something that can be fixed with Invisalign, girl, like, this is why, this experiment. Thank God. touches some people because I think it reminds everyone not to, judge a book by its cover in a lot of ways, and we gotta let go of some of the things that really shouldn't matter if you're looking for a life partner, especially things that are easily fixable like that. So, um, that's what I thought of episode 2. What did you think about it? In the comments, do you think that Lydia is settling for Milton? Do you think she should leave the process now that, her relationship with Izzy has come to an end? Do you think that the physical issue that Taylor has with JP is going to affect them in the future and that she's not that into him because she mentioned such a little flaw? I don't know, but let's get to episode 3. Now, episode 3, this is when I feel so bad for Chris. Again, Chris is a very nice guy. We said that him and Johnny, they had a lot in common. I felt like that was the best match. But here in this episode, Johnny dumps Chris. She decides to throw all her chips in, all her cards on the line for Izzy. Chris is devastated, cries to the guys. Oh, and I felt so bad for him because I felt like they were such a perfect match. But then Johnny, you know, tries to convince Izzy that she is the one for him, and it does not go well. And I think she knows that Izzy is not as serious about her, which is why she made such a drastic gamble. And I kind of saw the lawyer in her jump out when she was kind of arguing her case about why Izzy, should dump Stacy for her. She basically says, and this is important, that Chris and her did get along. They laughed the most. Everything was safe and good, but she has to stop choosing the safe and go with what is best for her, what her heart is saying. And her heart is saying Izzy is the one. And Izzy kind of lays out why, he likes Stacy versus Izzy. And sorry, not Stacy, Johnny versus Izzy. And Johnny could see the writing on the walls and just outright asked him before he could even get to the punch. She goes, "Hey, are you breaking up with me?" And he goes, "Yes." So all her lawyering did not work. She lost the case. And she goes back to the women's house and she starts, you know, kind of saying to some of the other girls that, oh, he's not going to be happy with Stacy. All these negative things. But then the other girl's like, well, what about Chris? What about Chris? She's like, yeah, I'm going to talk to Chris. So she starts plotting to get back with Chris again. And again, I know I just said that, Lydia should have left the process. So again, for Izzy and Johnny situation, you could tell that Johnny wanted, to choose Izzy. That was her first choice for some strange reason. So I think she should live with that. I think she should also leave the process. But I always really liked Chris, but I do not think it's fair to Chris, that Izzy is just like using him in this way. But Chris just goes for his heart and meets up with Johnny. Oh, so he, talks to Johnny. And again, Johnny does a lawyer thing where, she's talking to him and he's falling for it. He's like, oh, you sound so cute. And I just, in my heart, was like, Chris, don't do it. Don't do it. But then he kind of stands up for himself. He's like, listen, I need some time to think. So I was like, good, good, good. Don't get real good. But Izzy does choose Stacy and proposes to her, all that good stuff. And when Chris meets up with Izzy to see what Johnny said, I think he wants to compare notes, which is like the best part of this episode because all that lawyering that Johnny was doing catches up to her. So basically, Johnny had told Izzy, that he was the best choice. She always chooses safe. She doesn't want you safe anymore. But she told Chris that Chris was, the safe choice and she loved him so much and they get along well together and she's used to bad relationships and choosing the dangerous choices. So she needs to be with Chris. Basically, she told him the opposite thing. So that made Chris, have cause for pause. And you see really that Johnny's here to play the game. I think she wants to get married by any means necessary. I know, she's devoted time into this experiment, but it's not fair to the person knowing that they're, a second choice. And she literally told Chris to his face that he wasn't as exciting. He was boring because he was safe. So she was just kind of like twisting the knife that she already dug into him. So I did not like this whole episode. What did you guys think about the whole Johnny, Chris, and Izzy situation? Do you think that Johnny is well within her rights to try to get back with Chris because he was open to it, or do you think that she was foul for doing that? I don't know. Let's go to the last episode for now, episode 4. The main drama of this involves Lydia, Uche, and Elias. This is the other triangle. This is, when the show gets going, man. So basically, in spite of getting all upset with Aaliyah for, cheating 2 years ago, right? Uche just, casually admits after all this time has passed, all these, dates, that one of his first dates was somebody that he knew from the past, and it was Lydia. And this sets Aaliyah into a state of confusion and betrayal and just all types of questions come to the forefront. So he basically tells Uche, no, Lydia's one of my best friends. She's all my good Judy. She comforts me. She does all these, things. And I remember the first episode, I was very uncomfortable. Lydia was like, I am you and you are me. And now I see why she was so interested in Aaliyah because they both dated Uche. They both like Uche. So Aaliyah's like, I gotta talk to Lydia. So she gets back to Lydia, and then the scene is so dramatic. She just hugs her like nothing's wrong. They're both hugging, and then Aaliyah whispers in her ear, I know, he told me. And then Lydia just starts crying. Girl, she got caught. She's like, I didn't want to tell you because I didn't want to ruin the experience for you. And this is the scene where Lydia's kind of sneaky and mischievous side comes out because now Lydia is basically saying, like, I feel like Uche is basically just trying to date another me because you're similar to me, And then you see the flashback, when they meet in the pod, and Uche does not recognize Lydia, but Lydia recognizes Uche. And she finally gets him to realize that they had dated before. And then he's like, wow, what is this? And she's like, is this a sign? Should we just, start from zero and just start dating again? But Uche is the one that puts his foot down. I was like, no, that's not the experiment. Like, I'm here to, again, fall in love sight unseen. That's the whole premise of the show. They're not supposed to know what people look like. So then after Uche says he's not willing, to date Lydia again, then she goes, okay, I guess it's for the best. So Lydia was with it. She would have dated Uche if he was down to do so. But, Aaliyah is now finding out some of this. And Aaliyah, I guess, tries to kind of move past the situation. She's like, all right, now that we know, I don't really want to know much about you too, put in the past. But then Lydia, again, she's also twisting the knife in. She starts telling Aaliyah all these things that I don't think she should have told her. She tells her that, Uche has a Tesla that's blue. She's like, do you know his favorite color? His favorite color is blue. She's basically unintentionally demonstrating that she knows Uche better than Aaliyah. And the kicker in all this is that she also tells Aaliyah that not only had they been dating for months, this is not just like a silly fling, but they also had relations and knew each other biblically, if you catch my drift, 3 months ago. So I think that had to upset Aaliyah because the way Uche was going on about how Aaliyah was a recent cheater just because, she had her infidelity 2 years ago. But not only did he keep his dating with Lydia a secret for like all of their dates, but he had relations with her just 3 months ago when he's told Aaliyah that he didn't even like her. So Aaliyah is just, I think, totally confused about all this and probably heartbroken. And when she meets Uche again, she definitely lets the cat out the bag that, yes, I know y'all were hunching, 3 months ago. And Uche tries to calm her down, try to talk her off the ledge. Seemed like it worked, but then Lydia, now that the cat is out the bag, for her as well, she decides to tell Milton because I think she thinks that Uche is going to say something about her being messy. Um, because I don't think he was happy that, she talked about them having relations 3 months ago. So then Olivia meets up with Milton and finally tells Milton that she had dated Uche. And Milton is not happy. He does not speak. And she just starts freaking out. She's like, talk to me, say something, blah, blah. It's like, listen, I need 5 minutes. You don't give me 50 feet. So he leaves the pause. And then she's like, oh, you're going to come back in 5 minutes? He's like, yeah. So she goes to the girls' room and she's bawling, crying. And even though her and Aaliyah, used to be close and she was the one that comforted Aaliyah, Aaliyah's nowhere to be found when Lydia is crying and losing it. And it's Stacy that actually comforts Lydia this time. And Stacy talks Lydia down because she's spiraling this one. She's like, oh, I don't know what Milton's gonna do. And Stacy's like, calm down. You just told him just a bombshell. You have to give him time to process. And he's going to have questions. So clear your head. Make sure you're ready to answer his questions. And, realize that this is a human response. You told him some shocking stuff, which was good advice. So I'm gonna have to say that Stacy, she's becoming one of my favorite of the women because she was always loyal to Izzy. She didn't waver. A lot of these girls are going back and forth like Lydia, like Johnny. I don't like that. And she gave very good advice, to Lydia. So Stacy's up there for me. And I think, it is important to think about how other people feel, especially when, we're revealing our past and all these things like that. It's very sensitive. Um, Stacy's line was really good when she said, when you tell someone your past, it should be a manual for them how to treat you in the future, something like that. It was really good advice. So Stacy, very wise, very cool. And when Lydia and Milton meet back up again. He's cool about it, but again, I don't like that Lydia's kind of using Milton. And Milton has such a big heart. He has such a interesting story. Apparently, he had scoliosis, right? And he, for some reason, also doesn't believe that he's gonna live long. So he wants, to make the best of everything, which I think is why he's like going with the flow with Lydia. It also could have been a humble brag moment because he was saying people as tall as him don't tend to live that long. And then Lydia was like, "Are you trying to tell me your height?" So it seemed like it was a real fear, but also it was a way for him to secretly brag about his height. But to be honest, I think, and this is just my opinion, I think he freaked out when Lydia said that she had dated Uchi because they're very different in terms of their looks. And if Uche is Lydia's type, Milton probably subconsciously knows that he's not Lydia's type because literally, and this is not no shade or anything, but Uche is very muscular. He's kind of like built like Popeye. Milton, he's tall, like he's built like olive oil. So it's like they are opposites in terms of just build. And again, Milton is very nerdy and he's very sweet, and she already had put him on, I guess, the I'm not taking you seriously list when she found out that he was 24. So I don't think she's going to treat him well based on one, him being a rebound, two, based on her kind of wanting to continue to date Uche. Because again, if Uche did not stop, her plan to, start from scratch and still date, even though they weren't supposed to know who the people they were dating were, Lydia would have continued to date Uche. And then just the fact that Uche and Milton are such different builds, the writing is on the wall that it's not going to be a good thing. And Lydia looked like she's going to be in the middle of a lot of drama in the future. So basically, the end of the episode, Uche has a date with Aaliyah, but nobody's there. Um, and yeah, she doesn't show up. So the producer basically said that Aaliyah left the process, which is just mind blowing. And I'm gonna say this last because I don't remember if it was episode 3 or 4 where it happened, but Stacy and Izzy do meet up with one another, and it seems like it's all good. I like those two, and again, I think that Stacy is one of the best women, and I think Izzy was very popular with all the women because he is one of the more respectful and open-minded men. So Team Chalk in the Hood, they were, you know, kissing, hugging, all that stuff. Izzy was more complimentary about Stacy's looks. I don't think I heard Stacy compliment Izzy once, but again, she was kissing him and they were all over each other. So in this case, their actions convey that there's attraction, but in terms of who verbally affirmed their chemistry, it was Izzy doing all the, verbal compliments and praises and all that stuff. So we shall see. I'm curious to see if Stacy sees Izzy as her type, especially because she made a comment about imagining what her person looked like, and she wanted to know the color of his hair, assuming that he had hair and Izzy's bald. So we shall see. That is all. Thank you for watching. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment about what you picked up on the episode, especially if I left anything out. And yeah, I think we're gonna see a lot more in this experiment. It's always fun to watch. So make sure that, Please stay in touch in the comments. And remember always that you are the master of your fate and you're the captain of your soul. Bye.